So let's talk about this. How can you start the conversation about talking to your kids about technology and the dangers of it?
Well, a lot of times what parents fool themselves that when they give their kid a device, that kid is responsible enough to handle that device, where they're really not. So it's a proven medical fact that the frontal cortex of their brains are not developed enough to handle what goes on social networks. So when parents always ask me, what's the age to give a kid a cell phone?
Yeah.
And they'll say, well, I'll never give my kid a cell phone until they're 13, 14 years old. They only have an iPad. It's the same thing.
Same thing, yeah.
It's the same thing.
And that's what I say all the time.
Yeah. So they kind of fool themselves. But the biggest thing that parents have to understand is they're not only responsible for their child's food, clothing, shelter, and education, they're also responsible for their technology as well. And they need to know what that foundation is. That foundation is, I don't care if Nana, Nonu, Grandma, Grandpa, Tia, Tio gave them that device for their birthday or Christmas or whatever, they still don't own the device.
So, Rich, how do you monitor the technology? Because that's probably my biggest question, and I'm sure a lot of parents out there.
For the monitoring, the first thing that parents have to get over is that there's no such thing as privacy for children. That they are responsible for that device, that nothing they do is private away from the parent or their guardian. So there are great softwares out there. A lot of parents say, well, what kind of phone should I get my son or daughter? And I'm like, well, stay away from iPhone, because iPhone had put into place a two-step authentication, which does not allow monitoring of that cloud. So I always tell parents, get your kid an Android. Software like WebWatcher, software like My Mobile Watchdog will actually give you real-time monitoring of what that kid is doing.
Wow.
Now people say that Snapchat, you can't monitor Snapchat. Well, in WebWatcher, if you have an Android phone, it'll take pictures of it every minute so you can see what your kid is posting and what they're getting.
Wow, that's interesting. So Android over iPhone for those parents looking to really be on top of it, monitor. So let's say, Rich, I find out that my son is doing something inappropriate with the cyber world and in technology. How do I handle that?
Well, again, having that technology talk with them and letting them know that, look, hey, I'm busy, I work all the time, but if you give me a reason to check on you, like if your grades goes from A's to C's, if you're being aggressive, if you're staying in your room, those are the things that we need to have the technology talk with our kids. When it comes to monitoring, there is the software monitoring, and there are the conversations, the technology conversations that we need to have with our children.
All right, well, before we let you go here in about 45 seconds, what are the top 3 tips for parents regarding their kids and the said technology?
So parents need to understand that they have a God-given talent of a parent's intuition. If you as a parent think that there's something wrong, something's wrong. Don't listen to the stuff that comes off the side of their neck.
There's your list right there, going through child's social networks.
Right, and they have to trust the intuition of the parent. The next thing is that you have to go through, check their context, see what who they're talking to, what videos that they're watching, and check that Musical.ly account that so many kids have now. And finally, the common denominator amongst all my exploitation cases are that parents allow their children to charge their devices in their rooms at night. When you allow your child to charge their device in the room at night, you're sleeping. They shut the door so you can't hear them. There's no reason to talk. It's typing, reading, and performing. And this is when our children get victimized. So take those devices out of their rooms at night.
See, that's a great note right there, because you think it's probably safe when it's just charging.
Right.
That's probably the worst time.
Right. And when they're gaming online, parents think their kids are safe. Well, with this new website called Discord, this is where the gamers all go, and predators know that young kids are in there and they're not being watched.
Well, Rich, I got to tell you, I think we got to bring you back in, because that's the next conversation I think to have, because this is such an issue out there.
Absolutely.
The parents either know they're dealing with, or even more scary, don't know they're dealing with, and it's the Fortnites and it's all those other games. So if you'd oblige, we'd love to have you back in to have a segment on that. That's Rich Wistocki. He's a retired detective. He knows what he's talking about. He's also a cyber crimes expert. So for more information or to have Detective Wistocki speak at your child's school, just head to shoreconsulting.com. I'm telling you what, even before we had the conversation on camera, we talked off camera, the man knows a lot and can prevent a lot. So you want to get involved, make sure you hit him up.